Every World Series winner has a story of how they got there. There always seems to be a pivotal play that changes their fortunes. Today, I want to find some of the more underrated moments that helped the last 10 World Series winners take it home. The 2012 Giants looked dead in the water after their first two games in the playoffs. They hosted the Reds and lost both of them, having to go to Cincinnati and win 3 to advance. They went into extra innings in Game 3, and with 2 outs and 2 on, Joaquin Arias hit a chopper to third. It was bobbled by Scott Rowland, and Arias just beat it out. That scored the winning run, and the Giants went on to win the next 2, went down 3-1 against the Cardinals, came back again, then swept the Tigers in the World Series. The 2013 Red Sox didn't have a lot of drama, but there was one moment that was so important that I have to go there. ALCS Game 2. Red Sox already down 1-0, and in the bottom of the 8th inning, they're facing a 5-1 deficit to the Tigers. David Ortiz comes up with the bases loaded 2 out against Joaquin Benoit, and he lines a game-tying grand slam into the bullpen. Torrey Hunter flipping over the wall makes this moment even more iconic. The Red Sox walk it off on a salty hit, and they took the series in 6. Without that grand slam, they lose the first 2 games at home, and that's a tough hole to dig out of. The 2014 Giants won Game 7 of the World Series by a thread, but for their pivotal moment, I have to go back to NLDS Game 2. They took Game 1 from Washington, but they looked dead in Game 2. Down 1-0 with 2 outs and nobody on in the 9th. Jordan Zimmerman was going for a complete game shutout, but he walked Joe Panik, got pulled for Drew Storen, and he gave up a single to Posey. Pablo Sandoval comes up and doubles to tie the game, and Posey was out at home trying to take the lead. The game would stay tied for 9 more innings, with an amazing performance from Yusmeiro Petit, tossing 6 scoreless innings. And in the 18th, Brandon Belt took Tanner Roark yard, and Hunter Strickland made that hold up. The Nats were broken after this, and the wildcard Giants took the series. The 2015 Royals had so many key moments in beating the Mets. Gordon's homer off Familia, Murphy's error, Hosmer's bad dash. But a lot of people forget this team was dead in the water in the ALDS. Houston had a 2-1 series lead and a 6-2 lead in Game 4 at home. The defending AL champion Royals would not go away quickly, and they launched an epic rally in the top of the 8th, scoring 4 runs before recording an out, and finishing the inning with 5. They forced the Game 5 back in Kansas City, won that, and won their first World Series since 1985. The 2016 Cubs broke a 108-year curse, but they had their share of problems in each of the 3 series. They came back from down 3-1 against Cleveland, came back from down 2-1 to LA, and even though they were never behind against the Giants, I think the pivotal moment came there. They won the first 2 games, lost Game 3 in walk-off fashion, and they entered the 9th inning of Game 4 down 5-2. The first 4 batters faced 4 different pitchers, and all of them got on base. The game was tied before there was even 1 out made, and Javi Baez singled off Hunter Strickland to score the go-ahead run, and Chapman was able to clinch the series after the miracle comeback, avoiding Game 5 back in Chicago. The 2017 Astros had to win Games 6 and 7 to get past the Yankees, but in the World Series, they would have some big problems with the Dodgers. Game 5 was full of epic moments. There were big hits from the usual suspects, Altuve, Correa, Bregman, and George Springer took over Game 7, but it was Marwin Gonzalez that saved this series for the Astros. After losing Game 1, the Astros were down 3-2 going to the 9th. Kenley Jansen was having his best year, 41 saves and a 1.32 ERA, finishing 5th in the Cy Young vote. But Marwin Gonzalez took an 0-2 pitch over the fence to tie it, and the rest of that game was just pure chaos that ended with a 7-6 victory. Without that home run, I don't know if the Astros win the series. The 2018 Red Sox were a dominant team. They weren't really challenged, but there was one key moment in the ALDS. It was Game 4. The Red Sox had a 4-1 lead and were on the verge of advancing, but Craig Kimbrell loaded the bases with 1 out, then hit Neil Walker, gave up a sac fly to Gary Sanchez, and the lead was down to 1, facing Gleyber Torres with 2 on and 2 out. Kimbrell was able to get him to ground out, securing the series, avoiding a winner-take-all Game 5. The 2019 Nationals had some epic moments in their first World Series run. Howie Kendrick had 2 pivotal homers, one in Game 7 against the Astros, one in Game 5 against the Dodgers. That grand slam put them ahead in extras. Rendon and Soto also came up big in that Game 5 against Clayton Kershaw. But for this moment, we have to dial it back one more series to the wildcard game. Down 3-1 in the bottom of the 8th, facing the dominant Milwaukee closer Josh Hader, Juan Soto came up with 2 outs and lined a single to right. Trent Grisham misplayed it, and all 3 runs scored to give the Nats a 4-3 lead. Without that one play, there is no amazing World Series run. Howie Kendrick doesn't have his moments. We don't have a World Series where every road team wins. And the Expos Nats franchise still has no trophy. The 2020 Dodgers had a lot of big moments, mainly in the NLCS against the Braves. The obvious one is the tie-breaking home run from Cody Bellinger off Chris Martin in Game 7. Another big one was the Will Smith versus Will Smith battle in Game 5. That ended with a go-ahead 3-run homer in the 6th inning. But there was one event earlier in the game that changed everything. The Dodgers were already down 3-1. They were already down 2-0 in the 3rd. And after Dansby Swanson flied out to Mookie Betts, it seemed like the Dodgers would be down 3-0 as Marcell Ozuna tagged and scored. But it turns out he didn't tag. The Dodgers appealed and Ozuna was out. That gave the Dodgers a lift, and they went on to take the last 3 games on their way to the World Series. The 2021 Braves had big moments in all 3 of their series. Freddie Freeman's series-winning home run off Josh Hader was big. Dansby Swanson and Jorge Soler going back-to-back to take the lead in World Series Game 5. That was pretty big too. But for this one, I'm going to Game 2 of the NLCS. The Braves were behind 4-2 in the bottom of the 8th, facing Julio Urias, who had proven himself to be an amazing playoff reliever. It would not work out this time, and the Braves rallied to tie the game, capped off with Austin Riley's double that scored Ozzie Albies. Eddie Rosario walked that one off, and instead of taking a split back to LA, the Braves had a stranglehold on this series. That's all for this video. If you have any other ideas for these teams, keeping in mind I was trying to pick the more underrated moments, let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like, and if you're new here and love baseball content, please consider giving me a sub. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.